Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Dr. Carolyn Show. In today's segment, we are featuring life after the game. I'm so excited for all these interviews that I've been hosting, just meeting some amazing, great legends and celebrities and those who are making a difference in this world. And I'm excited to bring on, you guys know him, you know him by name, you know him by face. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. He is super sweet. He's a father, a husband, just a great overall man. We go back into the days when we used to be on local TV station together. His segment was always before mine, or mine right before his, and that's how we first met and first connected. And then he also has played for one of my favorite teams. So without further ado, let me bring on the man, the legend. He will be featured this upcoming week on the Green Bay Packers stage, mega platform for the NFL draft. I'll be there, be watching. All right, here we go. So welcome the great, the legend, Mr. Leroy, also known as Leroy Butler. How you doing?
Every day a vacation, every single
Every
day,
day is a
every
vacation
single
day.
day.
And you're
Yes.
living the dream. I mean, you are literally the epiphany of what overcoming is all about. And, we'll get into that about your early start and your early beginning. So right now in your life, you are a Hall of Famer. You are, of course, a former pro NFL player. You spent your career with one team, the Green Bay Packers, where in just a few days we'll be hosting the NFL draft. It's history being made. It's the first time that the Green Bay Packers is hosting that. And so Green Bay, it's not that big. So it should be pretty, it's not a big city at all. You're in and you're out, but it's beautiful. The greatest fans in the world that I can see are the Green Bay Packers because they'll follow you to Brazil. They'll go all over and they'll be naked. When I went to my first game, Leroy, I'm just like, what's happening? Dude was 5 degrees and they were just naked and green and gold and it was great. So I'm gonna
Yeah, I
start.
still don't get that one.
No, I don't know. I don't get that. Yeah, it's for different kind of people, different
Yeah.
kind of people. So I'm gonna quickly have you talk about your now, but I want to go back to those early beginnings because people will see the now, the success, but you just didn't happen to just be here now. There's a story. Your great mom is a huge contributor to where you are today, and we're going to talk about moms just a little. And so today, share with the people, where are you in life? What's happening? What are you doing? Or what are the great things that you're accomplishing?
Well, the thing about me, I'm the same person. It's baked in the cake. I mean, ever since and people that interact with me don't believe this, but I used to be very shy, very, very shy. I mean, extremely shy to
Right.
where, I was like 8 years old, 6 to 8 years old. Kids used to pick on me a lot because
Mhm.
we were in extreme poverty. I mean,
Yes.
some of the best meals came from school.
Hmm.
My mom raised 5 kids by herself, and
Right.
I remember going to the children's hospital, and the doctor said, well, Miss Butler, I don't know if he'll ever walk like the other kids, but his feet are extremely pigeon-toed like this, and they should
Right.
be like this.
Right.
And the doc said, but for some reason, he has the same smile. And my
Right.
mom said, oh, that's because he says he wants to play in the NFL. Uh,
Mm.
he said, and the doc said, what? Well, it's this thing that he told me and my mom, which is my grandma and my
Right.
grandfather. I'm playing the NFL to get my mom. We didn't have the word poverty. It's being
Right.
poor.
Just poor. Yeah. And it
So,
was like a ghetto, right? Like a
oh,
housing projects. Yeah.
it was one of the worst housing projects ever. It was called the
Mm,
Block of Homes, Carolyn.
mhm.
It
Mhm.
was. I can't even explain it. Even think about it, I get anxiety
Right.
because
Right. Right.
murders,
Mm-hmm.
violence,
Mm-hmm.
rapes,
Mm-hmm.
killings, and for
Right.
us, not just me, but my 5 brothers and sisters and my mom, we made it out. Some families,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're walking down the street,
Mm-hmm.
you hear shootings, and it could have been your best friend, your
Wow.
cousin. But I
Right.
never really, I just, I know we were poor, but mentally I was rich
Right.
because
Right.
my grandmother always kept me grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, if you really
Mm-hmm.
want to make it, you gotta just stay focused.
And
You,
start in
you
your mind,
start,
right? Uh-huh.
yes.
Yeah.
So it was tough for me, but it also helped me to do kind of stuff that I do now as far as
Right.
networking, as far as business. And I
Right.
do a lot of school talks. I was on a speakers tour. We
Right.
did like 25 cities
Mm-hmm.
and like 15 states and
Right.
just telling my story. And that's
Right.
what's, and now I'm
Right.
working on my documentary um,
Right.
that I'll have out probably the top of next year.
Wonderful. And you do some stuff with AI too. So we'll talk about that because I
Yes.
like that. I'm just like I'm all into the whole technological thing, and
Yeah, I'm a
I'm just
tech
so
guy.
yeah. You are. You
Yeah.
are. When we were riding back from the car, from the what game was that? I don't remember what we won. In Green
Yeah, it
Bay,
was
it
a
was,
home game.
it was a home
And,
game. Yeah,
and
and you was
we
back
had
there
me and
with your
my,
technology.
yes, yes. And you were in the car, me and my wife.
Yeah,
And you
and
know
she
we
was.
love you. You're like family,
Yes,
but
we
uh,
family. Yeah.
I love doing that kind of stuff. I just love it.
Right. Right. And I got to meet your one of your cousins too at that game. He was there
Yep.
because you're just
Yep.
such a people person. So you're born in the projects, pretty crime infested. Your mom and your parents separated when you were very young.
Yes.
Actually, you were a toddler, and so then mom, being a single mother, raised the 5 of you. And what do you have as far as siblings, brothers, sisters? Where are you in
Well,
the
I have
chain?
brothers
Uh huh.
and one sister, but
Uh-huh.
my sister's the oldest.
Okay.
So she was kind of the babysitter because mom had to work 2 or 3
Yeah.
jobs,
Right.
catch the bus.
Right.
But my sister, I was her favorite.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say that, I
Uh-huh.
did everything she told me.
Okay.
Everything.
All right.
My
If I
brothers,
ask her that, will she say the same thing?
what? Of course, that's my dog. But my other brothers, my youngest brother, my 2 older brothers, they pushed the line a little bit. But
Right,
I
right,
wasn't gonna do that. So
right,
that meant that she would give me things because
right.
she didn't like washing the dishes. I
Mhm.
love it. She
Oh,
would give me 50 cents to wash the dishes.
that was a lot of money back then, wasn't it?
Yes, because she was a candy striper, like
Oh,
a paid intern at the hospital, University
right.
Hospital, and I
Mhm.
used to walk her there. I used to
Oh,
push my bike,
right,
walk her to her job, and I would ride the bike home.
right.
And she said, "Oh, don't forget to get the dishes." I said, "I already got them."
You
And
already
to this
got
day,
it.
I I love washing dishes. I don't know why.
Right, 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 right. See, do you still do? You still like washing dishes or
I
no?
don't even allow my wife in the kitchen. That's my job.
Oh, because you're
I
the butler.
I
You know what I'm saying? Look at this.
exact
Look at God.
exact. I
Right.
wash the dishes, cook, clean, iron, all the domestic chores.
Oh
My
my
wife's job is to keep them 7 kids
God. Uh-huh.
and 6 grandkids away from me.
Right.
That's her job to manage them.
It's her job. Yeah.
I'll
And
do
she
all the
does it
domestic
well.
stuff. I'll do all that. But when it comes to kids, because we got
Yeah.
6 daughters,
Right.
and my son is my
Yes.
favorite, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't want to deal with them problems. Nope.
Right.
I don't want nope. Talk to your
Oh
mom.
my God.
Talk
And
to your mom.
she's really good at it because she
Yeah. I
works for
feel
you.
bad for her though, because my oldest daughter's
Mhm.
39. So I feel bad for her too,
Yeah.
because she helps my wife manage these girls and the
Mhm.
grandkids. Because
Right. Right.
they're all over the place, man.
Right.
I'd be
They
like,
are
thank you,
all
God,
over.
that I can cook
Thank
and
you.
just
You can cook.
I got
And
the easiest job.
you do have an easy job because I was at your birthday celebration
Mhm.
down by the chef. where you had the mini show where you did the remember you were the butler, you were cooking because you're all into the food,
Yes.
you were in the kitchen. Charlie was there, our guy Charlie.
Yeah,
And you had
Charlie Barnes was there.
he's funny. Charlie is just
That's my
stupid.
guy.
He's
Yeah,
so
I got
funny.
a new cooking show coming out called The Butler and the Chef.
Okay, who's the chef?
Yep.
The guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Chef David is the
Yeah,
guy,
Chef David. He's really
and
good. He's really cool.
his place is called Chef's Table,
Right.
and we do recipes all the time.
Correct.
And I'm
Correct.
so excited for people to see it. It's so much
Yeah.
fun.
Because that's where you hosted the party. Remember?
Yes,
So we hosted the
yes,
party.
yes,
Gilbert Brown was there, and quite a few of your
yep.
other friends and stuff was there. It was so awesome. It's like, when you get a group of people and it's just right. Like
Yes.
everybody there was just there to just show
Grown
you
folks.
grown, grown folks business. Because we had the
Yep.
Leap, vodka, and we had
Yeah.
the Barons. What does he have?
Brandy. Yes.
Brandy, that's right, because B&B.
You got
So
good memory.
yeah, I do have good memory. Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
there, and then we went to State Fair like 2 weeks later, and you were there too. And Genesis
Yes.
was tired, so she left. She went home. Your wife was just tired. She was there all day,
Yeah, she
so
can't
you
keep
came
up with
back.
me.
No,
She's
you can't
10
keep up.
years younger, but I got way more energy than
You
she got.
got that's literally where I was going to transition to. So, speaking of energy, I'm going to show the viewing audience where this all started for you back with the Seminoles. And
Yes.
so, I'm going to let me do this. Let me share the screen so that they can see where this all began for you, because we can see the excellence right now, but it wasn't always that way. So
That's true.
I'm gonna share my screen here. Here we go.
Consensus All-American honor is enough to put him in the record books. But
Ooh.
on Clemson Field in 1988, that's when he gave birth to the punt rooski.
And a little handoff to the upback. Leroy Butler's got a long way to go to the 40.
Look at you.
To the 4-yard line. One play for the Seminoles. Razzle dazzle.
And talk about tradition. You NFL fans ever heard of the Lambeau Leap? Started by none other than Leroy Butler. Yeah, my man is living, breathing legacy.
I love that.
I love it. I love it. That's what's up. This is
I'm
so
glad
good.
you even talked about that, Carolyn, because my condolences go to Florida State. Couple people got
Shot.
murdered, and they shot
Yeah.
5 other people, and that's just sad. It's just sad.
It's sad. Yeah.
It is. So
Yeah.
our condolences and rest in peace to those.
Right.
To their
Lost
families. It's just sad.
Right. It is really sad. And I'm from Florida, so I'm from Palm Beach. So that's how, we share the Florida. People talk about Florida, but it's amazing. I love Florida. So it's just a great sunshine. It gives me joy and happiness. But yeah, we're extending our condolences to the families and to the community, because when you have something like Wi-Fi giving me. Okay, there we go. When was it that you realized? So I knew you told the doctor you wanted to be a football player, and that was literally just you prophesying that into the earth. But when did you realize that I am an actual football player?
When my mom and grandma at church, I used to deliver Avon for my grandma, because
I remember
Avon was platinum.
Yeah.
And she had arthritis real bad. So I would write out the tickets for what people, and she said, that stay soft, take that to Miss Geraldine, take this over there, and she would give me like 75 cents for each one.
Right.
And I remember her saying, "I want to talk to you. Come over." Because everybody go to grandma's house and eat on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Granddad is just sitting there and walked, and she
Right.
said that God made everybody good at something.
Mm.
He didn't exclude anybody.
That's real good.
And my mom was back there nodding because my mom's heard that speech, and she said, "You know
Mm-hmm.
what? Your gift is people love you once they get to know you, but once you make it in the NFL."
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say high school or college.
She
She
said,
said, once you make it in the NFL, be the same guy.
be the same
Don't
guy.
change.
Don't
And
change.
she didn't say arrogant or
Mm-hmm.
narcissism. She
Mm-hmm.
said uppity. That's how we
Mm-hmm.
talk now.
Mm-hmm. Uppity. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be all uppity. Be yourself. That's what make people be different than some of these other athletes or
Right.
people.
Right.
And when I heard that,
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was no plan B. It was
No,
going to work.
it's on the A.
That's it.
Just one plan. And
Yes.
so she, and I
Yes.
mean, I love grandmas because they're so wise and sometimes
Yes.
they can be underrated, but they are literally the voice that plants the seed. That's what I see as grandmas. They plant that seed and they are serious. They're not,
Oh yeah.
like baby,
Yeah.
whatever they say, especially when they say baby, they're
Yes.
going into a whole different realm right
Yes.
there. It's like they have the heart of God. You
Yes.
just hear it when grandmas speak. Um, but yeah, because my mom did the same thing to me, and my grandma. In fact, my grandma blessed me before she passed and told me I was to carry on the torch. And she was like, "Your platform is the stage." She was like, "You're a face person, show up. Whether it's
Yes.
your show or whatever." She was like, "Use the looks that God has given you for a purpose." And she told me that, so I never forget
Yes.
that. So that's why I like TV interviews. I'm always smiling. So grandma planted that seed in you. And then you started playing in high school? Playing in
Yes.
high
High school, Carolyn, was difficult because
school?
real quick, I was supposed to go to Terry Parker High School, and then they had this busing system. It was randomly based on your last name where you would go to high
Mm-hmm.
school.
Okay.
So my mom got a letter and said you gotta go to the west side and go to Robert E. Lee High
Mm-hmm.
School.
Okay.
Wait, there's a school called this is
Gra-
South now.
Right,
For
right,
people watching this,
right.
this is the South.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh boy. Then my mom said, come here, let me talk to you. She was so wise. She said, it's not about the name of the school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the name on the back of the jersey that enters the school. I said, oh, that's
That
good.
was so good. That was so good. That can
Yeah,
sell. That
yes,
can be a
yes,
book.
yes. Yeah, I don't care what it ain't about. No. I'm
Mm,
going there
right,
so I can get to the NFL
right,
and go
right.
to college.
That's the end goal.
Nothing was gonna knock me off. So
Nothing.
being called the N word or not
Mm-hmm.
being invited to parties, I don't
Mm-hmm.
care.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to go to school
Right,
and learn from the
right.
smartest people in the world. My teacher, I love teachers, Carolyn, more
Mm-hmm.
than anything in the world, other than my family, friends. My wife's a teacher. She's
Mm-hmm.
my hero.
Yeah, she is a teacher. Mm-hmm.
My grandparents told me, my grandfather and grandmother and my mom always say God made them the smartest people because they're going to give you what you need to
Correct,
survive. Not a learning
correct.
disability. I was in special education,
Right,
and it was just always something. But my
right.
teacher helped me with the shortcuts in life
Correct,
and cliff
correct,
notes, and I
correct.
just love them.
Yes, that is so that yeah, that's on your bio here. That yes, you did
Love,
have
love them.
the they label you, and whatever the labeling was. I know in the back of your head, you knew you was just going to the NFL. That's the only label you know. They can call you ADHD,
Whatever.
whatever they call it. The only three letters NFL.
That's
That was
it.
your goal.
That's it.
Your eyes. So I was talking with a colleague today. We were just sharing. And I said, "Yeah, I'm in interviewing my guy later this evening, Leroy," and she was like, "Oh my God! No matter where I see him, whether he's on TV doing the commercial, we see him at the game, out at Kroger, Pick and Save, because you got all kinds of sponsors. I mean, you just scooped up Wisconsin. It just belongs to you. I mean,
Oh, Wisconsin, dog.
you do,
Oh,
and you stay
love 'em.
here. A lot of players don't stay, you know, in the city
Yes.
in which they play, but you did. Um, and she was like, he is the same, which is what your grandmother sowed a seed
Yes.
in you. Stay the same. And that's how it is, you know, when I first met you and we were on TV and I'm like, hey, and I'm like, even your wife, when she first met you, she didn't even know who you were. That's her story. She was like,
No idea who I was.
no idea.
None.
And that's the beauty of it. Because, you
Yeah.
know, but you're the same. And you'll never change because you're the same. It's you were the same when you were in college, you're the same now as far as your personality. Not too high, not too low. You're just who God made you to be. And that's the beauty that you
Mhm.
embody. Sometimes when people get to fame, because it's one of the things people I can hear them whispering, "I'm Dr. Carolyn," and I'm just like, just me. Let's just shake. It's just me. It's just a
Yeah.
person. What I
Yeah.
do is just a platform, but I'm just me. At the end of the day, I come home and do the same thing everybody else do, and stuff. So you're number 36. You're Leap. 36. That's the number you were given when you got to the Packers. So the NFL draft
Yes.
is coming up, Mr. Butler, and there's first pick, there's second round, there's third round, and you had gotten in the second round pick during the NFL. So
Yes.
there's gonna be
Changed
a
my
lot of
life.
huh?
It changed your life when you get drafted. It does change your life,
So that's where
especially
we're
for a
going
kid in
now.
poverty. What, man?
So
Hey.
let's talk about this moment because this is coming up, and I also have interviewed a guy that he's a former player, but he his name was never called, but he did get in. So that's another show. But I want to talk to you about because the draft is coming up. There's guys that will be there present. There's some with their families. There's some different places. Where were you when
I
you?
was in
Uh-huh.
the another well, the projects that I was born in, the Blodgett homes, we stayed there for like 18 years.
Okay.
And it was just so terrible. They had to just tear it down. So we
Mhm.
moved across 2 streets to another project, but it
Right.
was a little bit more
A little better.
upscale project
Okay. A little better. Okay.
called Centennial Townhouse West.
Okay.
And it was hot too. I got that apartment for a family, maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
We had 30-some people packed in there waiting to see the draft. I mean, this was unprecedented. Wait, that's that kid, the one that used to sit on the front porch. It's
Mm-hmm.
100 degrees. He's sweating, but he's out there waving to the other kids. Hey, I hope y'all have fun at the
Oh,
pool. Because I get
yeah.
my joy when other people.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm a
Yeah,
Cancer, so I'm very emotional.
you do.
I,
You do.
I say,
And you're an
it's okay.
empath. And you can draw on people and you can
Yes.
feel it.
I mean,
Yeah, you can
this was a big deal,
feel
but
it.
it's always anxiety
Mm-hmm.
because one of the things we didn't have cable, but
Right.
you always have that one uncle that knows everything. He got a
Connecting
butter
up.
knife, climbed up a pole. Y'all got cable for about 2
That's
hours.
one uncle. That's right. Got to see my boy. Got to see him. My nephew. That's my. And he probably told everybody, didn't he? That's my nephew.
Yeah. Hey man, we got to get this. And my mom had a rotary phone on the wall with a
Right.
long bungee cord, and that phone
Wow.
needed to ring. And then when it rang, it was the Green Bay Packers. Carolyn, it was like God was talking to me when they said he was going
Oh.
to sit in the second round. That's what the players are going to go through next week, the week of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
It changes your life. Not so much monetary, but
Right.
it changes your life because most of these guys have been
Mm-hmm.
praying for this opportunity their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes true, you really don't know how to act. Now, the first 10 picks in the first round, they kind of know.
Right.
They're always going to. But the other
Right.
guys, you may be projected in the first, you may not go to the third.
Mm-hmm.
I was projected to go somewhere in the first. I went in the second. I didn't care. I was just wanting the opportunity. I thank you. So I took
Yes,
advantage of it.
because fast forward today, dude, you are a Hall of Fame. Now, weather. Okay. West Side Jacksonville. Then you went 2 blocks over to another little better, project.
Yeah.
And then you went to a school where you're the minority, like very minority. Um, and then you played and you got called names, and no matter what, you continue down the path. Then you went to college. You played Florida State, dude. Like, it's not a D3 or two. It's not an NIAA.
Yeah.
It's a Division 1. In fact, was it Florida State that just won the basketball? Was it Florida State or Florida? Yeah, was
Oh, it was Florida. It was
it
Florida.
University? It's the Gators.
Yeah. I
Okay,
almost
so
went there. I almost went there.
almost went to the
Almost went to
Gators. And that's in Gainesville, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So FSU. And then so today you're a Hall of Famer. So I know that you're sitting there, your uncle got the hookups, and you got the phone call. When
Yes.
that rotary phone rang, because it
Mhm.
rings loud, and you
Yes, it
got the
does.
call, did you feel like you probably had an out of body experience? Like,
I'm telling you,
like it
it
can't
was
be
like
explained.
it's almost like the Holy Ghost, because I really thought that was God talking to me.
It
Tom
was
Brock, the
right.
general manager, Lindy Infante,
Hmm.
Lee Remmel. I was just happy for my mom.
Yes.
It was like the Jefferson. Well, we're moving on up.
Oh,
I said, Mom,
to
we get in the house.
yes.
I got my
Yes.
mom a house, my
Mhm.
brothers, my
Mhm.
sisters.
Mhm.
My rookie year, I stayed in an apartment. I
Mhm.
wanted my family to eat because they
That's what's
supported
up.
me. They
Mhm.
supported me.
Yeah.
Gave
Yeah.
them all money, and I'm just, and to this day, all of them are still living.
Yes.
And when
That's a
I got into
blessing.
the Hall of Fame, they all came down, and I was happy for them.
Yes.
I mean, I've lived my dream. That's why I say every day's a vacation. Now I
Mhm.
want my family to live the dream of what
Right.
it feels like.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I was just
And,
so
and
happy.
and you do it well. Like you do it so well. So and then I got another thing queued up here because I also want to show this. So yep. This is the one I want to show. I want to share that. Okay, I'll make it bigger. All right, let's talk about this one. So here we
Oh
go.
boy. Oh boy.
Screen out to
Oh
the
boy.
38-yard line. Fumble. Tackle. Do the Packers have the ball? Leroy Butler goes to the touchdown. Got it or not?
Well, they don't know whether to call it. Nobody wants to call anything.
Well, the officials are going to confer. Let's see what they're going to do here. I thought he was tackled. Did he fumble or did they get a touchdown? It is a touchdown for Leroy Butler. Wow, the fumble recovery. And the Packers go up
Look at
20.
Brett.
Oh,
Look at
what a
Brett.
play. I didn't even see it, Jim, but this may definitely bring back instant replay.
Who
I
landed
don't
the
think
ball?
one
I didn't
official
see
who picked up the ball. Was it
Well, we're
White?
going to look again. I'm watching it on replay with everybody else here. He threw the ball upfield. It was caught. Then there was a fumble on the play. The ball came loose.
Reggie
had the ball, and then he started to run. He still has the ball. They don't stop him.
He
gives
was
it to
out of bounds.
Leroy gets the ball downfield. Don't tell me that. I don't want to know it.
Reggie
It's a
was.
touchdown.
That's right.
I'm just telling you why instant replay is coming back, Jim, because Reggie was stepping up.
That
That's
is phenomenal. That is absolutely amazing. So you are known as the godfather of the Lambeau Leap. And I like to call it. So when I talk to people, I tell them that's the Leroy Leap. It's still L and
Yes.
L, but that's the
Yes.
Leroy Leap. So I mean, that whole thing, the fumble, and then at first you were the one that knocked him down. Then
Yes.
the ball is all over the place. Reggie White, like I said, God
Yes.
rest his soul in peace, amazing guy. And he, tossed it to you and you take it in. Was that your first touchdown?
Yeah,
Or
that's a good question. It
I take
was.
it. Yes.
And
Uh-huh.
I don't score very often, so I was so excited and I spontaneous because people always ask, "What were you thinking?" I wasn't thinking anything.
I wasn't
I was
thinking anything.
a spontaneous guy, and I love it, Carolyn, because excuse me, I think it's the best celebration because we don't have fans, we have shareholders.
Yes.
They own the team. I mean, they
Yes.
got stock certificates.
Yep.
So I wanted to do something to celebrate with them.
Yes.
And
Yes. So
it's
I want
awesome.
people to catch that. And to this day, Green Bay Packer is, I believe, the only NFL team of the 32 teams that is actually owned by the people. It is not
That's
a
right.
one person owner. And so the seats, like, my goodness, they are the stadium is always capacity.
Packed,
People, they
packed,
don't give it
packed.
up. The waiting list to become a part of a ticket season, it's years, because they pass it down from grandma to, grandson and the future baby to come. It is
Yep.
literally it's a family. The way Lambeau Field is built and made, the circular, it just reminds me of unity. And I know there's a lot of great stadiums out there. I see a lot of guys. I'm their life coach and practitioner from multiple different teams and former NFL players. There is something about the experience when
Yeah.
you are there at Lambeau. It is, you have to experience it to know it. It can't be explained. And so coming up at the draft, kitty corner to where they will host the actual draft, there is the NFL draft experience where you're going to be there and doing signings and autographs. I know Amon is there and a couple of the other players. You also get to come out on stage with some of your other teammates on opening day to show to the world. And I love how the NFL does that. Like, they just bring back the guys from the team for where you are. Like
That's
last
awesome.
year, you know what I'm saying? It's just a
That's awesome.
gift. It's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood, it's a family. That's how I see the NFL. I was with you last year when you launched your the Leap vodka, and we watched the draft. Remember?
Oh yeah.
First
Yep.
Marky, yeah, I was
Yep.
there and stuff, and was helping with the signing and some of those cool things. But now this year, you are physically there, and you're there for the whole week. Um,
Yes.
so many
Yes.
different opportunities, and you remain humble. And this is why, for the rest of your life, man, and even because I know you've imparted this in your children and your grandchildren, remain humble. Humility is just the seed for more. The humbler a person is, the more they get, because nobody like a stuck up, you
Hmm.
know, yeah, it just doesn't work. So
No.
yeah, you are Super Bowl champion because the Packers defeated the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 31. Was Brady there then? And
No,
Rob?
they had Bledsoe.
Okay,
Drew
so
Bledsoe. Yeah.
okay, it wasn't Mr. TB, huh?
No.
And they were inducted into the Green Bay Hall of Fame in 2007, and then in 2022, man. In fact, your wife got the call before you. She knew. It was hard to
Right.
keep a secret. I love,
Right.
again, the NFL has these creative things that they do. It's just like the minds of those individuals who are the visionary behind it is phenomenal. But in 2022, and 2022 itself is the number of light. So the number 22 represent light. It represent letting your light shine so bright, right?
That's
You
awesome.
got,
I didn't do that.
yeah, it does. It's a cool number. You got that call, and they showed up at your door and let you know that you are the 357th member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. See, that would have made me faint. I would have just been like, oh, I would just fall out, because there are just so, like, I have a book called The 10 Laws of Leadership, and I became a best-selling author in like 24 hours, right? Because I can write a book with my eyes closed. In fact, I wrote that book on the beach at Panama City Beach in Florida, because I
Oh,
like water. I like the sound of water. Okay, but the point I was making was, the book became what's called an award best-selling author. That is where you are nominated by people that you don't know about. You don't even know it's happening. Somebody
yeah.
found your book, nominated you, and I had to go to DC. There's a bunch of people, other authors, and you're in a competition, based on your leadership. And I won. I had an out of body
Oh, that's
experience.
awesome.
I was like, I was just so shouting, and I didn't, I know the others, I was, they were there, but I can imagine what this felt like for you to be a Hall of Famer, to get that yellow jacket.
Yeah.
I mean, it was destiny because you got the yellow jacket, you played with the green and gold, the yellow has just been kind of the thing that's been following you. So tell the people what that moment was like.
I thought about my mom. She passed in 2016. I remember her
Oh.
saying, "Why don't you work on your Hall of Fame speech?" This was '09. I said, "Mom, I'm not even in the Hall of Fame yet." She said, "Yeah, but you got to be prepared." And we worked on the outline of it. And I have anxiety with
Mm-hmm.
teleprompters.
You do.
And it's a guy there, a young man there at the hall. They work with your speech. And I
Mm.
told him that. And he said, "Don't worry about it, because I love teachers. I told you that."
Yes, you do.
And he said, "Just talk and I'll put it in the table of contents. Like, all I need is the subject and I know where to go." And I
Right.
wanted the shortest speech ever. I think I got it, But he was great. And I just thought about, again, all my teachers and all the negative stuff, that if there's not a father in the home, the kids are criminals. That's not true.
Mhm. Right.
We were just a
Mhm.
family that knew what we
Mhm.
want to do. My
Right.
brothers went to the military. My sister was a nurse. My mom was
Mhm.
a nurse, and she did other stuff. So
Right.
it doesn't matter what your environment. That's not a recipe for disaster,
Correct.
because it comes from the top. So
Comes
that's
from
what I thought about.
yes.
And it's still kind of going. It's still kind of new.
It is still new because you still get
Like 2
invitations
years
for
ago.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes. And things
Yes.
change. You
Right.
travel a lot. But
Right.
all in all, though, I just love my teammates.
Mhm.
I mean, because when you're a special needs kid like me,
Mhm.
Carolyn,
Mhm.
football is the ultimate team sport. You get 10
Correct.
other guys that can help you.
Correct.
They help you.
Absolutely.
So that's why I
Absolutely.
chose football. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a good point to make because that is why I for the former players, because that's mostly who I see, I create what's called huddles. And I go and I talk about mental
Mhm.
health because that's my space. Um, and
Yeah.
mind health, and how I'm a doctor of natural medicine. So I use the natural things to help to overcome, because coming from a camaraderie where you're in the locker room and it's full of energy and you bring all of it on the field, right? And then practice is the same way. And then you mentally and physically prepare for the game. And then to go to retirement and to go back into a civilian life that you're not familiar with, it's correlated to the military. There's a there's a guy that he sees me in Houston. He a former player, and he wrote a
Yeah.
book, and his dad was in the military, and I was in the military as well. And he talked about just that, coming from military to civilian life and coming from player to
Yeah.
a different life. Some guys don't know how to deal with that. That transition can be
Oh,
rough.
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
you know what I mean? There's that transition moment, and the guys got to give themselves a little grace, in that period. And if you don't have a good family support system, it is
Yes.
very traumatic, right? Because some guys, they go through divorce and life change, and now you gotta
Yes.
go from
Yes.
being catered to now you got to find a way, and you have children and family and spouses that are depending on you, and you feel like sometimes a failure, right?
Yeah.
It's just very common and very natural. So I just share for a moment one of those low moments, because again, you're such an amazing, fun guy. Every time I see you, you're always laughing, always smiling,
Mhm.
um, and stuff. But there are low moments. There are
Those are
moments.
kind of low moments.
Right.
The
Oh,
lowest moment for me was when my mom passed,
yeah.
because it felt like uh, she was so amazing. And again, she was my hero.
Hmm.
But I remember having a conversation with her. She said, because she was in hospice, so you get a chance to
Oh,
kind of know she was
yeah.
transitioning. But she was still very funny.
Okay.
She said, "I don't want anybody crying at my funeral." And she said, I am you.
Right.
I'm exactly like her.
Right.
Her mannerisms, the way she
Uh,
talks, the way she,
uh-huh.
I'm exactly like her.
You
So
could
every day,
literally ask that. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
she gave
Yeah.
me a mirror. She said, if you ever want to see me, just go look in the mirror.
Right.
And I
Right.
spent the most time with her because I was special needs. Everybody
Correct.
else is out of the house. It's
Right.
just me and her. She
Right.
go to the store, I'm with her. She
Right.
on the bus, I'm with her.
Right.
Everything, it was just me
Mhm.
and her.
Right.
And that helped me mentally. Because I get therapy every Thursday for the last 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
Every Thursday,
Right.
I talk to a therapist.
Right. You have
I
to.
like who I am. I want to stay like this.
That's
So that's
right.
why I talk to a therapist.
Absolutely. And I
That was
tell
a
people,
very little moment.
yes, that's a low. Because mom is mom. She's the one that, whose back you propelled from after. I mean, she brought you
Yeah.
into this world and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah. And they like to say, and I can take you out.
That's right. I told my teacher, call the police before you call my mama.
Yeah.
Because I'll be safer.
Exactly. You'll be safer. Yeah, mom don't play. So the beauty of it is you went from special needs and you have a very soft heart for those right now in that same space. I know coming up this summer, we're going to be doing some camps and stuff, performance camps and some camps around Wisconsin. And it's good to just see the eyes looking up on you, right? So the young men, the one of the beauty about you is they can see themselves in you, right? Because
Yeah.
not everyone have someone that they can look at that can inspire them. And some of these guys, they are coming from those homes, right? They're coming from those inner city where they hear the gunshots and their desire is, I got to get my mom out of here. It is
Yeah.
amazing, a son mother relationship. I have a son, and his sisters tease him and call him, "You mama's boy," because everything he runs to me,
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
"No, y'all leave him
Yeah.
alone."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Do you know what he's doing to us?" And stuff. So I'm sure he's doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's something about a mom and her son, and then the daughters and their dad. It's just it's a unique relationship. So
Absolutely.
you became that. You hold a record for 20 sacks, 20 interception club. You're in that for the NFL. Again, for the Pack. Was it ever a moment where you're going to get traded, or no? You just was always with the Packers.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
going to be with the Packers. Ron Wolf, the GM, said he did get some call. I was a transition player.
Mm-hmm.
So my contract was up the following year. He did get some calls about trading.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that, but he was like, I'm not trading this guy.
No. You
No.
are one of the very few players that start and end with the same team.
Yes.
Like,
Very
not a
few do that. Very
very
few.
few.
Sometimes
Very
it's not your fault. They
right.
just trade.
Absolutely. Right.
Sometimes guys
Absolutely.
want to change the scenery. So
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
I
Each
never
to his.
wanted to change the scenery.
No, you didn't. You are so sold out. You love your Lambeau Field. You love the Packers. And they treat you well. They are
Absolutely.
literally good to you. And Wisconsin has been good to you. Florida is good to you. No matter where you go, it is good to you. You even cross pollinate. You like the Milwaukee Bucks. You show up there,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's a different kind of professional, but it's still all in the game.
And the
And
Brewers. Brewers
yes,
too.
you do. You go to the. Do you like the sausage race? Because that's my favorite.
I do. Ooh.
Yeah, I like the sausage race. Oh my God! So the next milestone for you is it's just literally there is none because you're walking in the space where you've reached that pinnacle. I like that pinnacle in the NFL and in your career. And this is another thing I help the guys with that are former players when they're so down, because I'm a therapist and a counselor to many. I said, look, it was a career.
Yeah.
It was a job. It literally is a job. It's a business. And
Yes.
just like
Yes.
corporate America,
Yes.
that
Yes.
season is over. It doesn't mean your life is over. That's
Not
why
at all.
this segment is called Life After the Game. And that's where
Yeah.
we'll close it down. So, Leroy, you have a foundation. I'm going to help you with that too, by the way. I ain't put this out there on Front Street now, so I'll have to do it because I'm a woman of my word. It just came out.
It's all good. It's all
You
good.
drew it out of me. We got speaking stuff to do because I know you want to do that wellness conference and stuff. You know, we just wait till things kind of settle out. I was at the Super Bowl. I saw you at the Super Bowl. That was just an amazing experience. That was my first experience, and it was just awesome. I just love being around the guys. Like, they have no filter. They just say anything to me, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, TMI and stuff. And I mean, the
Yeah.
stuff they say, I can't repeat it, but I'm like, because I'm kind of shy too. People don't believe that, but I'm like, you can't say that to me. They're like, yes, we can. So I met a lot of cool folks in New Orleans, and it's a beautiful city. Like, the
Yeah.
people are great. The people are great. So as we come to a close now, you are going to be now a part of the draft. You are one of the ones that will speak and share. You're part of the experience. Fans will get to come and take photos and sign and all that kind of cool stuff that they're going to have at the experience. You've literally manifested and capitalized on the seed that your grandma planted, and then your mother, she watered it. And so, just like a tree, the branches are no good without the root. So your root and your foundation is built on a solid rock that, once you make your mind up about something and you just continue to believe it, because guess what? The derailments are going to come, right? It's going to try to throw you off the game.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, what I want the viewing audience to leave with is that you went from barely being able to walk to be able to talk to be, you had learning, disabilities. All the odds were against you, but you had a seed, and today you're living out that full grown fruit, to the point where you have a beautiful family, a beautiful career. You're not stationary and stable. You get sent all over. So I want you to leave, and I want you to talk into the camera and just tell the young man, the pro athlete, because I have a lot of the former guys that's watching, those who are going through the draft, those who may not get called, that there's still life after the game. And so I'm going to decrease so that you increase.
yeah, because when you're playing sports, you don't go to a lot of recitals, basketball games with your kids, and sometimes you don't get a chance to do family stuff. In the off season, you do, but sometimes some of the stuff you grew up doing because you have to work. But for me, I always found time for family. So in the off season, find time for your family, because most guys go through divorces, breakups, because they're enjoying the life. But money is no good if you can't share it with your family and friends. But two things can be true. You don't have to make a choice. Your wife who sacrifices for you, you know, pour your energy into your family, and everything else will work out. But I also advise guys, be your own guy. You don't need a lot of layers. Be approachable, be articulate in your message, and be your own marketing guy, your own everything. Because when you're retired, it's a whole different income out there for you. It may not be the millions, but what's wrong with the hundreds of thousands? You just keep that going by building a great foundation of who you are and the brand. Your brand is everything. But again, your kids, mom, dad, wife, girlfriend, significant other, that's when you can really embrace them once you retire. Because you're still the same guy. You just don't have the jersey on no more. But you're the same guy. Enjoy your life.
Absolutely. And you heard it best from the legend, from the great Mr. Leroy, and also branded as Leroy Butler. I told my friends, I said, I'm not calling him Leroy because I knew him when he was Leroy.
Yeah.
But I respect the brand. I like it. You
Thank
elevated.
you so much.
You got double names. So I was like, yes, Mr. Butler himself. You have a show coming out, the cooking show. You have the documentary coming out. You will
Yep.
be on stage all over the globe because people watch the NFL draft just like it's another game. It is
Yes.
it's long, but it's very interesting. It's very unique, and we get to see firsthand which team a player is going to. And in the next couple of weeks, things even change. Even though you got
Yes.
called for one team, so I have engulfed myself into understanding the NFL and post and pre and in while it's in season, because if that's who I am seeing, I need to understand the mentality, right? And so while I'm the mind, I'm not the body that played in it. I wanted to understand the different dynamics and how it you guys go through the process you go through. So it's been a pleasure having you on the show. It's always just easy to talk with you because you're genuinely authentic, one of the most authentic former pro football player that I know, literally. Like, and I talked to quite a few of them, but it's just so easy when you're around you. You make people want to be in your presence, right? And you do your best to always help others out. And so I just want folks to know that, hey, you can come from the bottom and make it to the top. It's a journey in between, just like Leroy has shared today. And so wherever you are in life right now, you may be in between, you may be at the bottom, you may be at the top, but you feel like you're cascading backwards. Just know that if he can make it, if someone who was projected to not even walk, at one point you were in a wheelchair, because I saw that in some of your historical B-roll, and so you were in the wheelchair. It's a brokenness in the family. You grew up without that father figure, but you always had a higher father figure that was watching over you. And so we honor and celebrate your mom, your grandma, your sisters, for you and supported you, your brothers, your one sister actually, and your brothers who were there for you, and now your beautiful wife and children. So we thank you so much for being on the show. Looking forward to seeing you in a few days as you embrace the place that gave you the opportunity, because it's an opportunity, right? They could have called
Yeah.
somebody else. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, right? For real. So because in closure, not everybody can be a chemistry with a team, because you can get somebody who's just like an outlier. They don't fit in. And
Yeah.
so when the owners and the GMs are picking, they got to also see, will he fit into this family that we
Hmm.
have? And you were the right fit. You still are the right fit. You still support the league. You still support those who you can. And because of that, greatness is your destiny. So thank you so much
Thank you.
on the
Appreciate it.
show.
Yeah.
Celebrate your life, and we celebrate your family. And so thank you again, and
Thank you.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Embrace life, fight for it, and live it fully every day. See you on the next Dr. Carolyn show. Thank you for being here.